Yes, we are back again. It's another live stream now on Wednesday, and it's the last one of this year because tomorrow we have the last day of the year, and yeah, everything is fine here. So I thought, yeah, let's do another last live stream, and hopefully you also have some time to create music. And I don't know what to do today. I just will do things which pop up. And we have, of course, last week I mentioned that we had Prisma, the update. There are a few little bugs we will fix after New Year, of course. You see, Blade 2, you cannot select the presets in here. So that one currently is not working. There are a few other small things, but that's the major bug we have currently. And I was simply playing the two of the new products we had this year, the Quad, which is a synthesizer which originally was designed for Reason. We made also the VST version of it. Therefore, it looks a bit different than the other synthesizer because it's based on the rack extension, which is essentially really like a rack. It's a virtual rack as they use it in Reason. And yeah, and of course, the other one you hear now is the Blade 2, which we released, I think maybe 2 months ago. And I use the modulation wheel to change the sound a bit. Oh, I see some people join the show now. And Tom did send me a MP3. I need to check that in a second because maybe it's on the other computer. Let's see if I pop up this one here. Sorry, guys, you got a lot of things flying. No, it's not on this PC, I can see. So give me a second. So what I could do is go to the other computer and forward this email from Tom to this studio. And then we can check it out. Yeah, it's not on this one. So, it's a nice sound. This is a stacking sound in the one of the new presets. Also, this one is nice. The noisy pads in space. Not pigs in space from the Muppet Show, but noisy pads in space. Yeah, and what I also told last week, I was busy preparing a beat a little bit, but it meant, yeah, also it bent into something which I will use in my new CD because I'm working also on a new solo CD with some classic synthesizer music. And just by accident, I played a nice melody and I need to work it out. So I can show you a few things which I did just ahead of the live stream. So this is really the basic idea, and this needs to be worked out. And as it is, very often working it out as a finished song, that takes most time. The idea pops up pretty fast, but then the end production always takes a lot of time. So I used Blade 2 inside, but the Facto had a nice melody. This is the bass, and then of course I need to work it out, and that takes a bit longer. But then it's based around this melody which is played by Vector. I can play. So yeah, it's not perfectly played, so but it's yeah, these are things that roll out of your fingers. And I was playing the Predator next to it, and Predator has this, which I use here on the keyboard. You see, this is controller number 11 or 12, and you can use it for making. So I could play it over. Okay, then you need to build it up, you know, all that kind of things. But it's a nice melody, so that will be a new one. And so we'll use also this lead sound in Predator 2. It's also in your banks. It's called Feedback Me Expression 11. I think we did that on a live stream, this guitar sound. Yeah, Tom, if you can send me to the other email address, you should have it, because I did reply to you also from the studio email. Okay, so yeah, guys, today, last stream of this year, we had quite some interesting ones last year. And one of the interesting thing was Hadley had this idea: how do you do ratcheting in this in your products? And first, I didn't understand what ratcheting was. And essentially, what happens, and we added this to the Blade 2, of course, in the first one, is that instead of one step, or let's say step number 3, it doubles the amount of steps. So it makes from 132th note, 116th twice 132th note. So we added this in Blade. So let me see. I think I had a preset in Prisma which also uses this. Let me see if I can find it. Give me a second. Now it opens. Manager, classic stacks. I think there it is. Order by date. That's the queens. Now it needs to load it in. Oh, this is another one. Blade 2, Blade 2, and the bit. It's what is the address? Yeah, well, don't mind, Tom. I'll drop you in a second. I will send this from the other computer. I will be back in a second. 1 second. Yes, I'm back again. So we will check that out if the mail comes in. And as mentioned, we had, of course, this year things which popped up in because of the live stream, and this one was not the correct preset. 2-blade up, that was the one I mean. And of course, in Blade 2, we started with this ratcheting. So I can pick it here. Of course, you need the ratcheting mode. I need to put it on. On step 4. So I could do it. You can hear it, I guess. So it's in the... So let's play only this one. So I hit that one solo, I think. Here it is, ratcheting. The Dutch word for it is ratelen, but essentially it doubles. So instead of playing one note on step 4, it doubles it. And what we did then, of course, the idea is cool. It's already inside the older modular synthesizer. You could do this. I used, for doing this type of thing, I used the controller voltage on my Korg SQ10 to make half notes and that kind of things, or 8th note or 16th note. And what we added in Blade 2 is then it's not only always ratcheting, because you see ratcheting is on, but we made having some additional feature so that you could say one cycle with ratcheting, one cycle without it, and then 2 off, 1 on cycle, or responding on velocity, which was also something which is cool. So here you have the velocity ratcheting. If I play soft, there's no ratcheting. And if I play harder, there's ratcheting. Here it comes. Okay, I need to play a bit louder. So you see again some very cool. Of course, the tempo is pretty low of what I have now. So now it combines 2 blades. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I also problems in pronouncing ratcheting. So that's yeah, it was also funny. Or the Sangini banks. He did send some great banks. The one of Vector I still need to upload. So I'm a bit behind in terms of work. So yeah, so the live streams were great. We had some also this remix. I think we had people did in the beginning of the year. So it's fun for me also. And you see, you also get some new ideas for our products. So Blade 2 has the first one with the ratcheting, and it will appear also very soon, hopefully at the end of January or early February in the update for Subboom Bass 2, where we add also this ratcheting in the sequence of Subboom Bass 2. We add our new range of preset, but also new range of samples. Okay, let's see if we have this demo song, because Tom Aldrich made a new demo song. So, of course, we are curious to listen to it. Let me see if I did receive it. Yeah. You see, now I need to double click. It's called 8 Blades. Oh, that's pretty sharp. 8 Blades, you know? That's pretty. And of course, people eat a lot these days. So 8 Blades are really, in this time of year, are very handy because, yeah, there's so much we do in Christmas. And tomorrow in terms of food. So 8 blades sounds like a great idea. So let's play it. So Tom, I'm curious what you created. Here comes another demo song from Tom. So let's see if it works. Yeah, cool. Thanks, Tom. Sounds very interesting, groovy, also very funky, which you also had in your other demo. So I can see other people like it a lot. Cool. We play later on once we finished the live stream, and I see some people joining. Yeah, maybe somebody has a question about one particular product. We had, of course. Let me see, and open something. We had, of course, Quad, which has some very interesting things. So if I would open Quad now, add track instrument, so here we go. It's also very different synthesizer, and of course it was a long time ago that we did the Quad for Reason, and I had also fun rediscovering this machine because of the phase distortion and the wave shaper. You really get some different sounds. And this is from the introduction bank, and you see the arpeggiator is pretty simple compared to, for instance, a Blade 2 or any of the other instruments, but still you can do some cool things with it. So it's more traditional arpeggiator. And you had some different tones because of you had 2 oscillators, but you had this phase distortion. So if I would take off this distortion on the oscillators, you see this sound gets totally different. So it's a very clever synthesizer. All controls are visible, but you can do by little tricks some very interesting sounds. So, of course, we had also the good filters on board. In fact, 2 filters. So this is again a different type of sound which it produces compared to a Blade 2 or any of the other synthesizers. Sometimes you get sounds which are a bit similar, of course, but that's because of the style of programming, I think. Of course, it's great for dubstep style things because of the dirty wobbles. So, yeah, it's very good. Very stereo. Maybe you're having headphones, so it really flies over. Yeah, it's down to the synthesis. There's 2 hours later, but down to the synthesis that it really has its own tone, its own sound. So yeah, indeed, somebody mentioned it has very nice arpeggiators. Yeah, many, I think. This was a nice one. And you could move here and make it really moving sounds with nice reverb. As you can hear, I have a very slow beat because I was working for the guys which are maybe tuning in a bit later on this live stream. I was playing around a bit with an idea for a song which I'm working on, so only a few minutes, but that's what happens. You play something and suddenly think, hey, this would be a nice bass for a song. So the beat is very slow. It's 94 beats per minute. It cut through. It's a very, very good synthesizer, but it looks different. It has a different sound. By the way, this is also the reason why the pitch bend and the modulation wheels are inside of it. It's typically a reason thing. So, let's see. I think in the ambient banks, I created also some new patches on Sure Move Pad. Yeah, Christian Hernandez said beautiful reverb algorithm. Yes, we have the top-notch reverb algorithm. It's based on the RP verb. And that really makes the sound people underestimate. If you have a synthesizer with a bad quality reverb, the whole sound goes dead. It's bad. It's really very. I mean, a delay is an easy thing and hardly can sound bad, or a chorus or a flanger. These are pretty easy algorithms, but reverb is another story. So, and of course, it has a big influence also on the feel in the sound. So if I go back to synth sounds, I'm not sure if I have a. And I'm looking here too. So it's a very simple saw lead. If you would have it dry, it even would be maybe boring. Just like a old analog machine without any effects. But if you put on the reverb, and it's a nice one, so I can make it a bit extremer, or maybe make it longer. We get really smooth. And by the way, if you just change here the attack, and that was what we also did last year to show you what you can do yourself to make a sound a bit different. So just playing around with synthesizers. Now I'm simply changing a few little things. That's what we also discussed during the live stream, what you can do yourself if you have a starting sound. Oh, this was this reverb lead. Yeah, very. You would have paid a fortune for this quality reverb, let's say 20 years ago. Now it's nice, you can see I always use the pitch wheel while playing solo, and sometimes I move it very fast to make it kind of vibrato. So quad is very versatile. This is a pretty classic analog type sound. So the original presets were inside of it. We also did update the quad for a reason, because there we added also the newer presets, some newer waveforms, and of course the improved reverb code, which is then finally the reverb code from Reverb. And now, keep in mind, current computers, because CPU-wise, reverb is pretty intensive, at least, let's say, 10 years ago. But now with all the new computers, it's not a problem anymore. So you see here we have the XY pads, which is for phase distortion, wave shaper in oscillator 1, and the same for in oscillator 2. But you don't see the recording options because that was not possible in the rack extension. So we have this not in quad, at least not possible at that time. So then of course we have the modulation matrix where you can use the LFO to control this movement, the X or Y. So you also have a movement inside the quad, which you can see here, this little dot in the background. So essentially the LFO changes the position here. So quad did we release? We had XY transfer, which was already, that was in 2019 when the release of Explorer 6. But later on we had this quad. And of course we had a Blade 2, which was a big update. A pitch bend strip, that's also interesting. So we had, of course, the keyboard from Roly, which we have now in Blade 2, this MPE mode. Maybe you can recall that again. So let's see if I can open again. Another Blade. Give me a second. We had, of course, so with the MPE mode, you have on this Roly keyboard, is on the right side next to me. I think it's not sure if it's connected. I don't think so. I can show you. You have this one, and you can use that for doing vibrato. So we had a few live streams about this MPE mode, and we have, of course, inside Blade the presets for this. So pitch bend strip can be very handy. You see, sometimes they have it on the top of a keyboard, and this one is not useful because that's only one direction for the controller 11. Interesting. Doppler has a large strip. You can put it on your keyboard. Oh, that's interesting. Didn't know that. So, and I guess it has a MIDI output or something like that. Cool. Yeah, and then of course, yeah, Blade 2 came, and what we added new, and will be a part also in the newer products. We added a 3 little lines, which indicates that there is a menu. And if you click on this, you see set to 100% the different screen sizes. You can select dial envelopes. You see, now you have dial envelopes. And let's see, turn dial modulation off. This is if you see this modulation around the dial moving, then it's modulated. You can turn it off. Turn MIDI preset change off. That's MIDI program change. Banks select is also MIDI bank select. Sometimes you have music sequences. If you play with the keyboard, that it puts out a MIDI program change. So then you need to put it off because otherwise you jump back to the first preset each time. Turn on external capture mode. This is an interesting feature. So if you have a dial connected to a parameter, if you put this capture mode on, then if you turn this dial, it only will start changing this parameter the moment it hits its value. So you don't have jumps. So it only starts changing once it hits the value, and then it picks up. I reset everything about Blade 2. Yeah, that is about the whole thing. And then I have a new feature was sometimes you have software which pops up. There is a new version. We don't have that because we don't know if people are connected to internet, but check for updates. Then it connects to then it checks with the homepage very shortly, and you see you have the latest version 1010 of Blade 2. So that's also new. And we add this feature in all our new products. So once we release Sublime Bass 2 again, with the update next year, you will have that also in Sublime Bass 2. So yeah, and now you might think, okay, what's next year and next plan for next year? Well, first of all, there are 2 FX. I cannot say what it will be, which will pop up. And another thing is that we will work on Predator 3, and it will be major changes to the user interface and a few interesting new ideas, and of course some new presets inside of it. So that's planned for 2021, and of course Blue 3 is also planned, but that will take some work because we plan to do some major cool things inside of it. So we will be busy next year, don't worry. And okay, let's see in the chat room if somebody maybe has a question. Yes, nobody has a question. Oh, well, then we simply check for the latest thing we did. So Blade 2, we had Prisma, of course, now updated. We had also some presets, new stuff in Punch 2. We added in Punch 2 this other mode. So Prisma, we discussed that already, but in Punch 2, let me see. Default pads, this is an empty one, nothing inside. So what we did is here having a different play mode in the patterns, so that not only audition, but also a combined patterns. Yeah, it's a pretty Punch 2. It's a very sophisticated, very deep sample machine. So if I would go here to the manager, I can go to, if something is here. Yeah, I think that one is a normal one, because if I go to the pattern page, you see Audition is playing, but you also can say Audition sequence mode. That was new, what we added this year to Punch 2. And here you see Audition sequencer, and then it simply plays in a sequence order, just like a real drum computer. See, just hit note something. So you can build up really a kind of song, and this you could also extract to MIDI. So here you could say export MIDI if you have a nice lineup. So let's go to the introduction bank. Most likely I have a built up. Brush slice sequence. Is that one using a, yeah, here down here you have a Audition sequencer. You see also the changes. Now Groove 3 comes in. But this is a preset which uses the sequenced mode. And what we notice, of course, people which are new to Punch 2, they really need to watch the tutorials, because they get a bit, where do I have to look? And it's essentially, it's pretty easy if you understand how basic the concept is. It's you have 24 keys. It starts at C1 until B2. Then you can play these pads. And if you hit note C3, you start starting these grooves. So this is groove 1 playing. If you go to the pattern, and groove on the next note is break 1, which is here. You see it playing, or D3 is groove 2. And just by live playing, you can add things to a song. So it's more like triggering a arpeggiator. You can compare it to triggering an arpeggiator. So if I would play again this part, I could simply hit now note. So now it starts to play in it. And let go. So instead of playing, it starts triggering. So these notes are all starting, depending on the preset, the whole range of grooves and sequences you have. And if you hit note G3 sharp, then you hit the Audition sequence. So if we go back to the pattern, you hit the Audition sequencer. And here you see how it follows this whole pattern. So it's very powerful, because you have several options. It's not only for playing sounds back like a normal drum computer, but it has a built-in sequencer, which is a bit different concept to a traditional drums computer. But with the Audition sequencer, you're very close to an original drum machine. So Audition is also very handy to simply get an impression of what is inside this drum kit. So you have all the drum sounds here, but if you hit then the Audition, you can also hit it here. You can hear what's the type of sound inside this drum kit. So then, of course, we added the color option. I don't use it because I found it not as comfortable, but you have this color option here. And you can have the global color setup, which you also could load, or a preset setup. So each preset, this drum preset, you can save with its own color setup. So this is also added already in the Punch 2 pretty short after the release, and what we will expand in the future, in the near future, is more sounds inside Punch 2, so more drum kits. And I know that Cat Bruins asked for having some CR78, so old style drum machines, and many samples are on board, but if you make a nice groove with it, that's a bit easier and a bit nicer. So things are going to add to Punch 2 from that perspective. Also next year you can find some new stuff inside of it. So yeah, another thing is, of course, if you stay on the main page, you still can pick here or down here. You see this pad 1, it goes down here, and here you can pick different bass drum icons. You can go to a different bank with hard. So here is already a fast edit for this pad 1. You see here, if I go to select pad 2, you see here, then pad 2 appears, and it's another bass drum. And also down here is the master. This is the master where you can say, okay, I have my drum kit, but I still want to add a additional EQ, a compressor, limiter, whatever. It depends. You see, in my own presets, I don't use it. So, but for instance, Jamal uses them. Let me see if I go to a Jamal. No, not in this preset. Let me see. Go to the bank manager. If I can find another one. Yeah, here he uses, and see, it lights up, compressor and limiter. And the master section is, of course, also up here. Then, master. Then you see you have all the volumes of the 24 sounds. You can mute them, but also the EQ, a parallel EQ. You have a compressor, a limiter, a low pass and high pass filter, and a mono stereo split filter. So this is the master section where you essentially do the last bits to the sound if you like to use that. So here in Meltdown 100, Jamal uses that, and you can easily play it without it, because if you click on the EQ, you put off the EQ, put off the compressor, limiter, and so this is without it. As you notice, it adds some volume because of the compression to the whole sound. And what you could do yourself also is think, oh, this is cool. Can you put on the filter, and you put on the high pass filter. So yeah, it's a very deep machine. Yeah, the advance is also cool. It's essentially the edit page for each sound. Here you can go deep. You see this is a model. It's a model bass drum. I'm editing the wrong one. Sorry. And then the easy page, that's also a fun part. So let's click on the original. The easy page with these, and you see these are used already. You can change the pitch. Gets weird, isn't it? So now it's totally matched up. So the easy page is cool for doing from a bass preset. You can say, okay, this was the bass preset, and you go totally wild. So yeah, that's also what we did this year, updating the Punch 2 with the color setup. And yeah, we added also the tablas. go to main, if I go to the manager and I go to the introduction bank, there should be somewhere. So with our high quality tablas, where are these boys? Or maybe they are in the drums and percussion. Here they are. It's nice, isn't it? So, and then the audition, you see, audition is very handy. Simply, and you see break 4 comes in, the rest comes in. And the cool thing, if you say it's note A, then you think, okay, that's not the tuning. Go to the easy page and then you detune simply here. Now I 2 semi higher, or you go higher. Yeah, it's a crazy machine. Lots of options, and take your time to learn it, and just watch the videos. If you maybe have a suggestion for the videos for Punch Tool, just let me know. Maybe I should make a simple one to explain these sequencers, because I don't think that we have that one. If in that I explained that the first 2 octaves are for the single pad and that the other ones are sequences, triggering sequences. Yeah, that's a fast trick for detuning. Going to the easy page and then detune, that's correctly. And then you could also save it. Of course, it's also saved within your song, but you could save this skit with the easy setting changes. Okay, Gert Bruins has a question. The split filter. Oh, that's a good question. What it does make is that it splits the mono. The stereo makes a mono below a certain low frequency. Everything becomes mono. You don't hear that, but it becomes mono. And above it, it becomes stereo. And that makes that you get a more tighter low end. But that really depends on the type of sounds, because if you use the built-in synthesis drums, they are very tight, don't have any stereo issues. So it's more maybe for your own samples, which maybe would have an issue. Then simply the lower end gets mono, and the rest gets stereo. So it's, in most cases you will not hear much affix or much result on it, because Punch 2 is so pure in its sounds. The basic sounds don't have an issue. It's mostly something which you would use on a mix, where multiple instruments are together to make the low end more tight. But we added it to Punch 2 because we added the compressor, the limiter, and then of course there always will be producers who would say, oh, why didn't you add the mono stereo? So we added, but I said it's not as effective because of the high quality which already pops out from Punch 2. A kick is it always mono? Yeah, a kick can be mono, but the kick can also be stereo. But what you hear as stereo are the upper frequencies, because low end is not the lower frequency. You don't have any direction, so it's very hard to locate a lower frequency on left right. With higher frequency, it's pretty easier to do. So that's the thing. What they do, emulate problems which you can have in the low ends. That's essentially mono stereo emulate gets rid of problems. You should try it out with Master Magic, this FX plugin. You have an older song and you have good speakers or headphones. You put on the Master Magic and you will notice on this older recording that suddenly the low end gets more tight, and as if the stereo imaging is also better. So just give it a try. Yeah, you can also see with the subwoofer. The subwoofer you can put anywhere in your room because it's not directional. Yeah, it has less. yeah, spatial parts in it. It's a bit hard to explain or to express this. It's not sensitive for stereo imaging. That's maybe the best word. So if you would play, so everything what you would hear stereo, that comes from the mid and the higher range. So yeah, from that perspective, try out Master Magic on one of your older tracks, and you will be surprised how much it can do to your mix. Okay, so if you maybe have ideas for next year for the live stream, let me know. And I see Gert wants to send some sounds for Punch too. A drum kit with samples? No, you only the samples. It depends if the samples are from the built-in samples. So if you go here to a sample pad, you see this one. The snare. Where are you? Here it is. I go to the. This one from the built-in sample. So if you created a drum kit using the factory samples, so which are inside here, then you don't need to send in the samples because they are already installed. But if you use your own samples, for instance, in the to user folder, if you place your samples there, then you need to send also zip the sample. So send in the preset, see, so the top kit preset, and then the samples. Okay, that's cool. Granular synth, not really. Granular synth, we will do granular stuff most likely in Blue 3. Maybe ahead of that, we will do in Vecto also some granular stuff. That's an idea we add for Vecto. It's of course inside here. So if I have this sample here, this snare, we have granular also. Let's make it a bit longer. So go to the amp. Well, it's a very short snare. Okay, I'm editing the wrong sound again. Split. Okay, now let's play sample A. Now I can do granular. I also could do this on the tablas. Let me see where the tablas are. Making tablas granular. I'm doing this very fast now. So it's a they sound they're gonna sound a bit weird, isn't it? So here you see this is sample playing. I click on this icon, then I open the advanced edit. Depends really on the sound. Yeah, it's so something which you could do. So if you go to a drum kit, okay, let's go. Sometimes because it's loading the sound. Let's see, October Mist. There's some water. There it is. So it's a sample of water, but you can change the sample offset, which is already changed a bit. Let's make this a bit. So of course people sometimes get offended because or a bit overwhelmed by the amount of parameters. So you see sample, this one, pad number 20, which is G2, is now, this is opened. You see this is the part of the sample which is selected. The play mode, it's only sample A. Then you got all these synthesizer parameters, and on the right side you have the volume control, velocity, and the FX send. So there's a lot of things inside of it. So you see the sample, I can change the sample. Now, okay. Let's see how that works. I make Granular. Oh, dirty. Of course, once you use Granular, it has also the tuning has influence. Oh, it's a bit too loud. So I can make it also reverse. Of course, when I do reverse a sample, you see it jumps, and then I need to move the offset to, because then see, now I reverse the sample, I move the start point, and now this, you see, sometimes you get really very strange sound. The original sound was water. I now use grains. Yeah, Punch 2, I really advise to watch all the videos in the Punch 2 playlist. I need to make more. I have one video about the sample pad, which is really important that you check that out. And you see, simply by using built-in samples, you get so many weird things. So now I click a different one. So let's see, that's also cool. Simply go to other sounds, take a crash. Okay. That's dirty. So no, oh, the sample offset is gone. Trash. This is the trash. So you see how much influence. Yeah, Punch has also the updated reverb code, has the reverb to you can hear it here. Then we have the FX send. So if we go to the snare here, and FX send, you see this is the 4 FX, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this of course makes everything a bit busy, but that's because you see 24 pads with 24 dials with FX send. So this is the reverb. And you see the wet is fully wet because this is an FX send setup, just like in a mixer. With the FX send, you means that you can use, now you see on the this pad, or the first pad, I can use also here the reverb. And the original Punch mode is that one pad goes to 1 FX. And you can click on this button here, then you have the original And then you see it gets a bit more easier to look at, because then you only have one pad with one output. But with the Punch 2 mode, you have 4 FX sounds. So it's like a mixer. Yeah, lots of options. Okay. So with the built-in, here it is. Where's the... That's a nice one. Well, let's see. I think Punch 41, and this one uses, I think... Oh, it's detuned. So here I can bypass the reverb. Now you can hear how much the quality of the reverb is, you know, on this side stick type of thing. Yeah, that's a good point. The engine doesn't change if you put in a drag and drop for samples. The sample will not unchanged by something, unless you do it yourself. If you have a let's see, a very short sample with, so here. Originally, so for the groove, I moved a bit the sample offset. Clap. Oh, this is Punch 16, so this is one of the sampled claps which are built in. Sample 16. Yeah, so yeah, I mean there can be a lot to be told about Punch 2, but so therefore I already created some tutorials in the playlist of Punch 2. A bit rate destruction. Yeah, a lo-fi mode is not really inside of it. It's a bit there if you go and you pick here distortion bits. Well, it's not as effective. It depends on the sound. Okay, so there are many presets which are drum kit presets, and of course there are, as you see up here, we have also drum presets manager, which means that you have for pad 4, which is a snare, all kind of presets. Also clean, special, Jamal. So drum presets is for each pad, depending on the type of sound you're using, you have a lot of presets. Classic analog, 808. Yeah, you hear my keyboard clacking, sorry for that. Yeah, and then there's a manager for the patterns, if they are saved. There are not that many. So you have the kits, but also for each type of pad, you have also presets. And there are many presets on board, of course. So if you would go to a sample pad, so, okay, I'm here. Let me see, main. Here I have this one. So I click here. This is a pad, uses users? No, I need to have a sample pad. This is users. Here's a sample pad. This one. So if I go to the manager, drum manager, see pad number 21. Oh, there's an error I see. It's pad 01. Huh. That's a bug. So you see down here, it's sample pad, and then you see all kind of presets. Bass drum, snare presets, tabla, FX percussion. This is me with a bamboo thing. We recorded this, a bamboo stick. So it's more like Bruce Lee, me doing kung fu things. So here you see this sound. If you go back to the advanced, you see this is a drinking glass, but we use the stereo swap. So it starts from the left, goes to the right over a certain time. There's a high pass filter used to get rid of the low rumble, but this is a nice. Yeah, there's so much in there. So there's not only drum kits, which of course use all the sounds from the individual pads, but also the drum pads have each on their own presets. This one was a sample, so it's a combination. And this one, this is also a sample, but here you could say, okay, take one of the models. Go tuned. Okay. There are different models here. And here you have the feature, not only for decay, but also to have a whole thing so that it really goes. And you see, the hold is just what you would do normally in an audio setup on a 808, original 808. You would put in a compressor to make this tone longer. And we simply add here a hold feature in the where you have this going on. And I can tune it. Now it's a G1. Overtone. Or you can say, let's do a little bit of edgy distortion to it. Can make it ridiculous long. You could put in noise. Let's see if that works here. Yeah, plenty of options. Yeah, I could talk days about it. And I think still the basics are very simple. You have 24 pads. If you don't want to go deep, you have the option here, if you select pad 1, to pick another preset from one of the different drum kit, from the drum pad presets. And yeah, it's very deep. And of course, the sound is very powerful. It cuts through in your mix. You don't lose it. It's really fresh and punchy, as it is mentioned in the title. Okay, guys. So also for Punch 2, we hope to do some more sounds next year. And if you have some ideas for tutorials, let me know. And yeah, I hope to see you back, guys, next year. Sounds strange, isn't it? See you next year. But next year we have a live stream on Thursday again. And I hope you have a nice party in going into 2021, and hopefully for our health and all the weird things going on, that it will be much better next year, and everything, yeah, will be very musical and healthy for you. So stay safe, and I will go out with the little song that Tom sent me using Blade 2 and Punch, and 8 blades he used together with Punch, with another nice demo. So stay safe, and thanks for watching, guys. See you next year.